water. They slowly rose to the surface of the water. Kira opened her eyes, which were blue again. "What happened?" she said. Then she winced, realizing she was in pain. Suku brought her to the shore. When she stood on the solid ground, she lost her balance, so Suku carried her to the house and up to his room. When they got to his room, he gently set her down on his bed and pulled off her clothes. I know that doesn't sound like it's right, but believe me, it was right. This was obviously before I lost my virginity. So, yep, 13. He couldn't believe what he saw, but it was exactly what he expected. Everywhere on her body, and wherever the iron strings had touched her, she had a long gash. It looked like the strings were still on her, but red. She was covered in blood. Kira looked at herself and screamed. Suku went out of the room and came back with bandages and healing ointment, 'cause that would do it. He applied ointment and wrapped the bandages wherever there was a wound. Kira was in so much pain she fell asleep while he was working. There's a difference between falling unconscious and falling asleep. He didn't notice this until he was done. He looked at her for a while, then pushed her body gently so that she was more on the bed and put her head on the pillow. Then he covered her body with a blanket and let her sleep. But while Kira was sleeping, she had a weird dream. She was looking at someone. That someone was a girl. She looked very weak, as if she hadn't had food or water for months. She looked miserable and looked like her life could end any second. This girl had long, dead, dark gray hair down to her ankles. Her sad, worn-out eyes were dull blue, as if she hadn't seen daylight. In addition, I don't think daylight would do that to your eyes. Like, lack of daylight. In addition, her skin was a very pale, cloudy gray. Kiora was staring at herself, except the other Kiora looked dark and worn out. Kiora looked around and saw Suku staring at himself also. Dark Suku. Dark Suku looked even more unhealthy than Dark Kiora. The idea of others. This is actually a really common theme. I didn't create, the concept of others. That's just how I named them and what they represent. So, Kiora looked around again and saw a ghost girl standing, smiling at her. The same ghost girl Kiora saw in a vision once before. Kiora looked back at herself. Dark Kiora and Dark Suku walked toward each other, lay down on the floor, and closed their eyes. Closed their eyes and didn't open them. Those lifeless eyes never opened, and Kiora began to cry. She shook uncontrollably, as if someone was shaking her. Kiora, said Suku, and Kiora woke up. You were having a bad dream, and you were moaning as if you were crying. What's wrong? Kiora wanted to tell Suku what she had seen. She wanted to tell him everything. Then Shimiko came into the room. Master, she began, there were early events that had occurred out on the bridge. You and Mistress Kiora were out there. I have recorded that event. Shall I play it for you? I think you would be pleased. Yes, Shimiko, please, said Suku. I don't think Kiora knows what happened, and I want her to see. Shimiko pulled a cord out of the palm of her hand and plugged it into the TV. The screen came on. Kiora and Suku were walking across the bridge. The black strings suddenly attached themselves to her body. Kiora watched in horror as she saw Suku fighting to get her down, but then Kiora and Suku saw something that they couldn't put down, and only Kiora knew what it was. Suku had stood still for a moment, trying to think of a way to save Kiora, when a transparent image appeared behind him, and it whispered into his ear. Shimiko, freeze that image, said Suku. The screen froze. Now enlarge the picture to that thing behind me, using CSI technology, where enlarging a picture does not degrade its quality. The picture zoomed in, and there, standing behind Suku, was a girl. It was a ghost, the ghost Kiora had seen in her dream. Just then, the TV screen buzzed and then went blank. Shimiko's eyes went from lavender to black, just like the screen. Then she fell to the ground. Shimiko, shouted Suku. He examined her eyes. She's crashed. Suku looked at Kiora. Is there anything you have to tell me? Kiora looked back at him. She wanted to tell him everything. The ghost, the dream, the death. However, Suku was already too worried. But then, Kiora, whispered a voice. Kiora looked around. Did you hear that? She asked. Suku nodded, but he couldn't help to notice how familiar it was. Kiora, come, follow. Then Suku remembered the voice he heard down at the bridge. The two were one and the same. What do you want? Said Kiora. She looked scared. She could barely stand because of all of her wounds. Come with me. I will take you to where your heart desires most. Follow me. Kiora and Suku looked out at the hall as the walls and the floor slowly darkened. I'm not coming with you, Kiora shouted. I don't want to know where you plan to take me. Then, I guess, I will just have to force you. The darkness slowly crept into the room. Suku picked Kiora up and ran to the other side of the room, where there was a door to the outside balcony, but he couldn't undo the hatch in time. The darkness swallowed them. However, nothing truly horrible happened. The room got insanely good, and there was no color to be seen. The walls were decaying, and there were cobwebs in the corners, and Kiora and Suku stood facing the ghost girl. Watch, and set your gaze upon yourselves. Watch as truth tells a lie, and a lie tells the truth, she said, and she pointed towards Suku's bed. There sat Dark Suku and Dark Kiora. They were holding each other and looked very unhealthy, and able to drop dead any minute. Suddenly, Dark Suku slid to the floor. Dark Kiora knelt next to him. His skin started leaking blood. Uh-oh. What time is it? I don't think my charger can reach that far. Okay. Change of plan. Boop. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Where was I? Sugu, she said hoarsely. You've got to try to hold on. Just a little longer. I can't hold on, whispered Dark Suku. Not any longer. There is life and there is death. And I'm dying now. He lifted his arms as if they weighed a ton and put his hands on Dark Kyora's face. Die with me, Kiora. We just can't hang on any longer. Tears streamed down Dark Kyora's face. She lay down next to him, crying. Her skin also leaked blood. They both closed their eyes and didn't say another word, and they never opened their eyes again. Kiora looked at the dark bodies of herself and Suku, and she cried. Why are you so sad? You should be happy to know that you two are going to die together, said the ghost. That is the truth. You will die together. But the lie is that you will die together soon. You will live a long life. I think you should just bring us back home, said Suku, holding a crying Kiora. The darkness vanished. The ghost was gone, and Shimiko woke up. I think I lost some data, she said, and she scanned her hard drive. I lost the video of the early event by the bridge. She walked out, looking disappointed. Kiora, you're standing, said Suku. He pulled off one of her bandages. There was no trace of a wound or blood. It was as if nothing ever happened. But it did happen. Even though all proof was lost, Suku and Kiora remembered it, and for 30 years they told no one until their first child was born. She was her name. She had black hair like her mom and hazel eyes like her dad. But the time she was 2, her hair was down to her ankles, so that if you saw her naked from behind, you wouldn't know if she had clothes on or not. When she turned 5, another child was born, but she looked nothing like her parents. Kitsai had pure white hair and red eyes like her mother's when she is possessed. Kitsai's hair grew long, too. On Christmas Eve, when she was 9, and Kitsai was 7, Kiora and Suku told about the day they saw themselves die. She and Kitsai were mesmerized, but they went to sleep that night and dreamt of their parents dying in the arms of each other, their skin leaking blood, and a ghost girl watching from the sidelines. What was the point of that story? Oh, here it is. You guys dying as a young couple, but you will live long. Couldn't she have just come up to them and said, hey, you guys, you're going to last a long time, and you're going to die together in the ripe old age of something? What was the point of that? Oh my god! What was the point of that, Charmer? I don't know. But if you sat through those 2 stories, the night of the blood red moon was decent. Oh my god. If you sat through that, congratulations, and thank you for watching. If you like my videos, make sure to leave a like, spread the word of awesome, become a Raytonite, and don't forget to click the little bell. And I shall see you later, alligators and crocodiles. Look at my socks! They're unicorns! Bye.